Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today's micro boost is going to be talking about intensity. Has anybody ever said to you, you're a little intense? If so, don't feel bad. Intensity is relative. Some people have been raised in a very slow-paced, very just even keel household. A lot of it also has to do with culture. For instance, I am Spanish mixed with Costa Rican, so I have both the European and the Latin in me. So things can get pretty fiery and boisterous in my house, where a lot of people can mistake just me being passionate and talking about things that I love with getting angry or getting upset, which I find really frustrating because sometimes even my parents can misread that. It's just the way we are. Or perhaps we feel really deeply. Perhaps we're empaths, where our system is just super sensitive to just about everything, especially other people's energies. We can feel when the energy of a room is really high and vibrant and maybe a little bit frenetic. And we can also feel when the energy of a room is pretty heavy and pretty downcast. Now, if you're somebody who loves pretty deeply, you feel everything about like 100 times more than the average person. So it's not that you have a skewed or distorted view of love. You may have a very healthful view of love and a very balanced expectation of what a relationship is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to feel like. But another individual may not know how to meet you there, because the way they love is not the way you love. And it's not like you expect them to meet you exactly where you meet them, because you know that you have different styles of loving. But it can be discouraging because people can feel really intimidated by your style of loving, because you genuinely are fiercely loyal and protective in a balanced way. Sometimes individuals can misinterpret the way you share your feelings, and this can happen even in friendships, where they feel that you're kind of crossing over a border and they feel it's getting into, for lack of a better word, stalker territory or harassment territory, because they haven't perhaps taken the time to get to know you well enough in order to recognize that that's not your personality at all. That's not something that people associate you with. It's simply that you are a very good friend. You're the type of friend that you would drop anything at a hat if a friend needed you. Didn't matter what time of the day it was. If somebody needed something, you would be right there. And the thing is, you love unconditionally, which is not very common these days, and which is why a lot of people are usually suspicious of the type of friendship or the type of love that you offer, because nowadays love seems to be very transactional. It's always tit for tat. Okay, so you're gonna offer me this, so then what do I owe you in return? That's not necessarily how many of you work. I know for myself, I honestly give because that's just my nature. I don't expect anything in return. In fact, I know from experience, many people do not give in return. So I don't expect that at all. In fact, something that I've learned in life is, and this may sound negative, but it isn't to a certain degree, but you have to be balanced with this attitude. Don't expect anything in return from people, so that when they do something that is kind in return, you're pleasantly surprised. So that way you're never disappointed. If they do something nice, then that's great, but you're not expecting that. You just simply do you, because that's who you are, and you're staying true to your authentic self. So perhaps if anybody who's watching this video has come across or is interested in somebody who intimidates them by how fiercely or how intensely they may like you, or if you have a friend who is just very passionate about things and the way they speak is just, they're very reassured in themselves, and they just maybe come off a little bit too over the top. They're not harmful people. Most of them are not harmful people. In fact, they are probably the most gentlest, respectful, kind souls you'll ever come across. And they are actually the ones that are most susceptible to being taken advantage of, believe it or not. People see how kind they are and how willing they are to be there for others, that then many people take from them. And while they're willing to give from their cup, people take from it, but then they're left with an empty cup with nobody there to help replenish it, because many people are intimidated and they don't know how to go about interacting with you or how to talk to you. And that can be discouraging if you've been through the ringer once or twice, but once it's not your first rodeo, eventually you'll know how to fill up your own cup, and maybe I'll do a video about that another time. But please be mindful of those individuals that are kind and respectful and don't demand anything of you in return, and who just simply are concerned with your overall well-being without any explanation at all if you've perhaps slighted them in the past, because these individuals freely forgive, and they don't hold grudges and they don't hold resentment, because they know that those feelings are toxic to their system, because like I mentioned before, their system is really sensitive to different kinds of emotions, and there are specific emotions that especially really do harm to their center core essence, and one of them is resentment. It just festers. So for me, in my experience, I have just learned to let things go. As easily as somebody offends me, I just let it go almost instantly, because I know if I'm 1,000 years old, none of this is gonna matter anyways. So might as well let it go now. Sooner is better than later. It's better for your health, it's better for your stress, it's just better for your overall wellness. So don't take advantage of those people either, because just because they freely forgive doesn't mean that they don't initially feel hurt when somebody does slight them. Whether it's somebody overlooks them, somebody drowns them in silence, could be anything. They do feel that initial hurt. I mean, they're not robots. But don't take the fact that they freely forgive you as like a get out of jail free pass to just then continue to repeat those same bad behaviors. These individuals do clock it, and the ones who have learned healthy boundaries, they have their own line in the sand too in their mind where they draw the line. So you may not know what it is, but you don't have to know what it is, because you should be treating others with the same amount of respect as you want to be treated. So if you're doing that, then you're free in the clear, and you should be having a healthy relationship with this person. And if not, then sooner or later, the person that you should be really grateful to have in your life, because they are sincere-hearted people, they're gonna pull away, and you may not get a second chance in order to have them back in your life, because you've treated them so poorly and you've taken them for granted. So that's just was a little musing that I had in my mind today about individuals who may come across as intense or who are intense by nature. Again, there's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes it takes a little while for you to find your people. And trust me, they are out there. It does take patience, but you'll eventually weed out the ones who just are not for you and find the ones who are. So hopefully this will have encouraged some individuals, and for those who perhaps needed help in understanding those who are a little bit more intense, hopefully this will have helped you learn how to navigate those friendships and relationships a little bit better. All right, thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye for now.